Live from the 808, we shoot you straight. This is Joey. With me, as always, is Steven.
What's going on, everybody?
And hey, by the time this show drops, we'll probably have a new president here. It's election week in a few days.
Yes, very much so.
What is today? The 3rd of November.
Third, 2 more days.
So a few more days here, and just thought I'd get that out there. But hey, I don't do politics. I do sports. So let's get into some sports.
I like sports more.
Yes. Sports is a little lighter, and we get everybody's opinion. And I just want to start out with the Washington Commanders and the year that Jaden Daniels is having, the way he is resurrecting this franchise. I just want to jump right into it. It's Sunday night. He just won his. They're already sitting at 7-2. They're atop of the division. Philly's right behind at 6-2. But the Washington Commanders and hey, if it was just a few games, Steven, that he won, we could see the kid's talent and whatnot. But now we're halfway through the season here, and they're sitting at 7-2. I mean, Washington won all of 4 games last year. They were 4-13. So if Jaden Daniels and the Commanders win one more game, they've already doubled their win total from the previous year. And I don't want to give all the credit to Daniels because there's some good things going on there in Washington. The supporting cast, the pieces they've picked up from Austin Eckler to Marcus Mariota as the backup. You're just seeing this team collectively start to form as a group. Zach Ertz, the longtime tight end, and Philly, and look what they've done. I mean, just it's amazing to me. Jaden Daniels, his passer rating, the numbers, not turning the ball over. Of course, there was the Hail Mary just a week or two ago. I don't know, Steven, your thoughts on what you're seeing so far? I'm pretty amazed. I mean, we saw C.J. Stroud have an amazing first year last year, and it's like this kid is almost one-upping it.
Exactly. I think there's no secret. I've been a huge Washington fan my whole life. Ever since back in like 89, 90, I've been following them and always been a big fan. And over the past couple of years, we've fallen off the page a lot. 4-13 last year says a lot. But I think this year, the reason why I've been so reserved is last year, of course, Dan Snyder finally sold the team after all the scrutiny that he went through with what was going on in the organization.
Yeah.
We found all these different emails and bad yada, yada, yada. So this is the first year for Dan Quinn, the first year for Kingsbury as offensive coordinator, the owner. For Jaden Daniels, it's a lot of just, first kind of like the rookie seasons for a lot of people in a sense.
Right.
And so I just didn't want to get so hyped up. We lost the first game against Tampa. We won the second game, third game. You're looking by the Cincinnati game. Okay, are you going to start talking about them and hyping them up? Trust me, I'm hyping them up, but I don't, hey, let's put on the brakes. But talking about it, Joey, I think it was the Baltimore one where I was really waiting for to see how we were.
That was kind of the turning point that you said, hey, absolutely. I think I got something here.
Absolutely, I feel that we didn't take advantage of a lot of opportunities that we could have won the game.
Right.
But Jaden Daniels has just been amazing. I love the way that he just plays football. He doesn't, he's just out there to win and to make the team better. And if you see that, you see with McLaurin, I think if you're a Washington fan, you've been watching him since they drafted him. You've always waited for him to have his breakout year to, okay, he's good. Like, all right, his first rookie year looked all right, second year, and finally you're seeing what he can do.
Yeah.
It's because of Jaden Daniels, of what he can do and what he can bring to the table, and just makes everyone else better. It's such a great team that, everything's focused on this young rookie quarterback, but I think as a team, as a whole, you really got to love where we're at. I know I do.
Yeah.
You can't give enough praise to this young man of what he's been able to do, and just the poise and how he's handled everything, how he's handled this rookie season. What is he going to do? I just can't think of
me neither. And from what I hear, he's one of the guys that one of those players that's first in the building, last to leave, watches films, does all the things right. Rallies his team behind him. Like you said, McLaurin is starting to become that number one receiver, much like Chase in Cincinnati or Justin Jefferson in Minnesota or Tyreek in Miami. You're beginning to see why they drafted him so high and the way Daniels is using him. And, I just can't say enough about what this kid is doing. 7-2. I mean, clearly he's wrapped up Rookie of the Year. I think you could even put him in the MVP conversation.
so.
I'm not saying he'd be my number one choice for MVP, but he's playing so well, Steven,
talk about him.
that he deserves to be in the conversation. No
Exactly.
question. Like I said, this team won 4 games last year. What he's doing is just amazing. A high pass rating at 106, doesn't turn the ball over, and he puts up points. They had a few games this year where they didn't punt at all. So, I mean, the kid's just been amazing, and, you know, it's a good chance they can get in the playoffs. They're already sitting at 7-2 with, 8 or 9 games left. So it's like,
say I think we're playoff bound.
yeah,
Unless
I mean,
something
Philly's right there with them.
Something drastic happens, I think we're playoff bound, to be honest.
Absolutely, but to be conservative, you're playoff bound, and to be aggressive, they might even win the division. They still haven't played Philadelphia at all yet. They have 2 games to play with them, but that'll really be the measuring stick. But at this halfway point in the season, I just say, it's amazing what this kid's doing, and we're just enjoying it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so shout out to him.
Man, I think another team we're kind of talking about them is the Ravens. I think with them coming out this year, how is Derrick Henry going to fit into all of this?
Shoot.
I think it started off kind of slow, Joey, but we're just seeing what they're able to do. I think you're seeing such a high evolution for Lamar Jackson and what he's able to do when you put these proper weapons around him with Flowers and Derrick Henry, and it's really nice to see him flourishing. You didn't think that he could get better, and he has, and I think that's just a tribute to the team, to John Harbaugh and them sticking with him and trying to surround him, and just him getting better. I think it's just.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Ravens have always been a tough team every regular season. Lamar, of course, was your MVP last year. But, yeah, I got to piggyback what Steven's saying. The chemistry he's building with Zay Flowers, and he's just becoming a better pocket passer. Like today, he had a perfect quarterback rating today. I think he only ran for 4 yards. So everything was from the pocket. Derrick Henry is fit like a glove over there, and he's just been a perfect complementary. And you're starting to get a 3-headed monster there, Steven, with Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, and, of course, last year's MVP and Lamar Jackson. So in the AFC, I know the Chiefs are 7-0, but you really have to pay attention. Throw the record out. I'm just talking about the eyeball test to what you're seeing the Baltimore Ravens doing. They're dangerous. They're coming. It's going to be interesting as we go into the stretch of the last half of the year here.
I agree totally with you.
Yeah, man.
And then kind of talking about Kansas City, them being 7-0. What is more impressive to you, Joey? Is it how they're 7-0 and them winning these close games, or is it more like, I guess, talking about like they're not that explosive offense that they were before. They're a ground and pound team pretty much,
right,
with a great defense. You're seeing their defense come out big every week.
Well, to elaborate on that, man, at the end of the day, it's to get that W, it's to get the win, and that one impresses me. They're just always able to overcome any adversity. I mean, Kansas City Chiefs is a team that's missing their starting running back, Isaiah Pacheco, their number 1 wide receiver in Rasheed Rice, their number 2 wide receiver in Hollywood Brown, who they brought over from Baltimore last year. So, I mean, Arizona. He did play with Arizona. Anyways, they just find ways to win. As Steven mentioned, Mahomes isn't having one of those years where he's throwing for 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards, but he is getting the W, and that's what matters. So as long as they have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, that is the glue, that is the formula to this Kansas City team, and a really strong defense. They've impressed me, to say the least, the way they've been able to keep winning, because I feel like they can play better football, and they're currently sitting at 7-0. But it just comes down to one game in the NFL, not like NBA or baseball where you have a series of games. So on any given Sunday, we'll see what happens. But to answer your question, yes, I'm impressed with the way the Kansas City Chiefs just find a way to continue to win and overcome adversity.
I think for me, you got to give credit to Steve Spagnuolo as well. We talk about Andy Reid and Mahomes and what they're able to do. Steve Spagnuolo with the defensive coordinator for there, and what he's been able to do.
Yeah.
You're looking at Chris Jones is now, one of the elite, if not the most elite inside defensive lineman that there is. I think Duffy is like the other corner that they have. I just think like there's a lot of just defenses looking stout. They're looking great. You cannot really run on this defense.
Right.
I feel, and I think that does a a lot of credit to Steve Spagnuolo, and I think he should get some credit as well. We always talk about Mahomes and Reed and
That's
Kelsey.
true. That's true.
And stuff, but hey,
What he's done with his defense has been,
I think so, and been able to piece this defense together from, when Mahomes and them came in, they weren't talked about as a defense, and now we're talking about them 5 or 6 years later, like, wow, they're a defensive running team. Before they were just offense, now they're a defensive team.
Oh, absolutely, and that's why it's hard to count out Kansas City, because despite all the flashy plays on offense, it's really their defense that keeps them in every game. Mm-hmm. They never let the score get too out of hand. They're always in striking range to give your quarterback a chance to win the game, and Mahomes does that. They got all this experience.
Exactly.
So they're battle tested.
So yeah,
yeah,
amazing to them.
But all the teams we just mentioned, the team I really like this year, Steven, that's really impressing me, and I kind of feel like it's their year. They're really grabbing the momentum. Mm-hmm. I think you know who I'm going to say.
Absolutely.
It's the Detroit Lions. They were right there last year. They were up on San Francisco going into halftime in the NFC Championship game by 10 points. I think they know they should have won that game and closed it out. But hey, we're moving on. It's a new year. And they're just clicking on all cylinders. Jared Goff seems like he's taking the next step in his evolution as a leader and a quarterback. Not to mention, I've told you how much I love Dan Campbell. I think he's a player's coach. The players rally behind him. Amon-Ra St. Brown out of USC is phenomenal as your number one receiver. I could just go down this whole roster, but I won't waste a lot of my breath doing that. They're just a complete team. They put up lots of points. They keep attacking. And here's something that flies under the radar, Steven. They have 2 players on defense that have 10 interceptions between the 2 of them. All right? Kirby Joseph and, what's the other guy's name? I want to say Brian. Anyways, another player on the team, but they have 10 picks between 2 players on the defense. So, when you just give a high, potent offense more opportunities to score, that's why they're sitting at 7-1.
Definitely. First off, I think Jared Goff should be also mentioned in the MVP conversation. Yeah. I think he's just, when you talk about that step up in his evolution as being a quarterback, I think he's definitely done that, and you see it. I think his pocket presence, staying in the pocket, has just really just grown leaps and bounds from when he first got there till now. And when you talk about Dan Campbell, I think what's cool about it is his team is taking on his identity. When you're talking about the corners and how they play, they're never, other than Aiden Hutchinson, right?
Hutchinson, he went out. Yeah, who had that injury a few weeks back.
But you look at that defense, it's just very in your face. We're going to come and get you. And that's how Dan Campbell is, along with their offense. They're going to stand in there. They're going to make plays. And that's what they've been doing every single week. So, yeah, I just feel like I'm with you. I feel like Detroit is just that team this year where everything has been clicking for them. This is their window. This is their opportunity. Every team that they should be beating, they've just been demolishing the past couple weeks. I think the game today wasn't as close as the final score was.
Right.
I think on all cylinders they're just firing. I think it's just not only Dan Campbell but everyone on their offense, on their coaching staff is just, man, they're just playing great, and I'm happy for Detroit, for their players. They went through that adversity.
Oh, yeah. This organization took a lot of bad years, so they definitely deserve to enjoy this.
Exactly. And I think I agree with you. I think it's their year. I think it's for them to lose. I don't think anyone's really in their atmosphere in a sense of offensively and defensively and just in the NFL alone. I think they're so sound. And
I totally agree. Look, I can point to some other good teams in the NFC, but I would hesitate to say they've had as a good a year or as a consistent year as the Detroit Lions. They just won their 6th game in a row today. They're putting up lots of points. They're sound all the way, offense, defense, special teams. These guys love each other. They play hard for each other. And most important thing, they look like they're having fun out there. So as of now, halfway through the season, Steven, in the NFC, they're the team to beat, no doubt about it.
I agree with you.
Yeah. Hey, but that's all I got.
Yeah. That's all I got this week, too.
But if you disagree or there's anybody you like that we haven't mentioned, please